Hey guys, it's Peter and welcome to my channel, Peter's Movie Reviews. And today I have a good one to bring to you. I have been waiting to review a movie over here that I can actually get on video and say, I love this movie. And today, as cheesy as it sounds, because it's a Lifetime made-for-TV movie, I loved this movie so much. And so today I want to bring to you my review of the illustrious award-winning, no it really is, an award-winning 2004 Lifetime movie, Gracie's Choice, starring Kristen, Diane, and Heche. So let me do a little bit of a background story. Okay, so last week, I think it was last week, I reviewed Mommy Meanie, which was about the new documentary that just came out on Netflix that's called Unknown Number, which is about Lauren Licari and Kendra Licari. So last year, in 2024, Lifetime put out a movie called Mommy Meanie, okay, which was starring Lisa Rinna, and it was based on the true story of Lauren Licari, who was being catfished, and then we find out that it was by her mother, Kendra Licari. So anyway, so last week, everybody was talking about it online, this movie with Lisa Rinna. So I was like, I'm gonna watch this movie and then I'm gonna review it for my movie channel. And people seem to really enjoy the fact that I reviewed this Lifetime movie. Now, I know that probably people enjoyed it because it's relevant right now because of the documentary. But that kind of got my wheels turning a little bit. And so I thought, you know, back in the day, I grew up on Lifetime movies. My mom and I would watch Lifetime movies. My friends and I later watched Lifetime movies. I love Lifetime movies. I love made-for-TV movies. My favorite Christmas movie of life is Smoky Mountain Christmas with Dolly Parton. My favorite Lifetime movie is, I Know My First Name Is, the Steven Sanders story. I Know My First Name Is Steven. Is that what it's called? Why do I feel like it's called something else? Anyway, you would think that it's my favorite Lifetime movie that I would know that. But anyway, which they later did Captive Audience, the documentary, which is a fantastic documentary about the Steven Sanders story. So anyway, I love Lifetime movies. My friends and I used to get together and we would like have dinner nights and watch Lifetime movies. So I thought, well, what if I just started this channel. What if I review, not all, it's not going to exclusively be Lifetime movies over here. I'm still going to do the new movies, the new trending movies that are in the movie theaters. I'm still going to do the movies that are trending on the streaming apps. But I was like, what if I start doing some Lifetime movies over here as well? And then I was talking about it on my vlog channel. So for those of you that do not know, I have a vlog channel called Peter Vlogs. I vlog every day, typically from my front porch, just sit there and talk about stories from my past, growing up, being in recovery, things in my life, my family, what I did the last 24 hours. It's just kind of like I'm talking to the camera. So I was talking about doing Lifetime movies, and somebody suggested, because they know that I love the V.C. Andrews books, they said, you should review all of the Lifetime made-for-TV V.C. Andrews books, because they've turned several of the series into movies. Well, I remember that because some friends of mine, so my husband and I, we would get together with our friends and I think we watched the first two in the Flowers in the Attic series. So I went in and I looked, and there's actually like Flowers in the Attic, Dawn, Heaven, Ruby, Flowers in the Attic, The Origin. There's like all these series and they're coming out with more. So I was like, oh, I could do all the V.C. Andrews series as well. I started that last night. I started with Heaven last night and I finished Heaven. So I am now a proud member. Now, I know you can watch a lot of these movies other places. You can watch them on Tubi. You can watch them on other streaming services. But I am now a proud member of the Lifetime Movie Club. If you would like to be a proud member of the Lifetime Movie Club, no, this is not sponsored in any way whatsoever. If you would like to be a proud member of the Lifetime Movie Club, I believe it's $4.99 a month, and it's off of Prime, and you just go in there and you just add the subscription, and then you can watch any Lifetime movie in the world. Now, like I said, you can find them other places. A lot of them are on Tubi, which is a free streaming app, and there you can find them all in one place. Okay. So when I decided that I was going to do these Lifetime movies, I started like Google searching the best like Lifetime movies ever, the top viewed Lifetime movies ever, and one movie kept on coming up over and over and over again, and it was this movie called Gracie's Choice that came out in 2004. And I didn't know anything about this movie. I had never heard anything about this movie. And so I was like, what's this movie, Gracie's Choice? It literally was #1 From Homeless to Harvard is number 2, and Gracie's, which I will be reviewing sometime soon, but Gracie's Choice was number 1, literally on every single one of these lists. I think it won an Emmy. I think Anne Heche won an Emmy for it. So I was like, what is this movie? So the other night I started watching it, and I thought, oh, I don't know that I can get into this movie. I don't know that I don't know. Like, I'm just not in the mood. I was like in the mood for a thriller or something, and I was like, I just don't know that I can do a Lifetime movie tonight. Okay, I stuck with it, and let me just tell you, an hour and 28 minutes later, I was ugly crying. The dogs were like asleep next to me. They were waking up. They're like, what's wrong with Dad? I was like dry heaving, crying, watching this movie. It was so fantastic. I love this movie so much. So let me tell you about this movie, okay? Let's get into it. So Gracie's Choice is, it says TV program on here. It is I think it came out in 2004. It's a 2004 Lifetime movie. The overview, Gracie's Choice, A Story of Love, is a 2004 American drama film that premiered on Lifetime on January 12th of 2004. It is written by Joyce Ellison, directed by Peter Werner, and stars Kristen Bell, Anne Heche, and Diane Ladd. I love Diane Ladd from back in the day. I loved her in Wild at Heart, the David Lynch movie. David Lynch is one of my favorite directors of life. She was so fantastic in it. She played the grandma in it. So let me give you kind of like the plot, because this is based on, a lot of Lifetime movies, obviously, are based on true stories. The real story behind the movie Gracie's Choice is based, I even love this, okay? It's not based on a book. It's not based on like a big deal thing that happened. It's based on a 2001 Reader's Digest article about a teenager named Gracie Thompson, who, after her drug-addicted mother, who's played by Anne Heche, was arrested, fought to gain legal guardianship of her 3 younger siblings to keep them from entering the foster care system. While the film captures the spirit of the true story, it was not entirely accurate, with some changes made by the filmmakers to the story of the real Amy's story. Okay, so then it goes on, inspired by true events. So it was based on this woman named Amy who's come out and she wrote this like article with Reader's Digest. Now, I tried to find the real article. I found the cover of the real article. It's got her face on it and stuff like that. And I found like bits and pieces of the article, but it's hard to find the entire article or the article in its entirety today. So anyway, but I know that there's bits and pieces. So the original story is that it's about this young lady named Amy. And her mother was like drug addicted and in and out of like being in the Department of Corrections. She was arrested a lot. And so Amy actually lived with her grandmother. And then later, when her mother was incarcerated, she petitioned to get guardianship over her 3 younger brothers. So that's the real story. And then I think later adopted them. That's the real story. In Gracie's Choice, I actually was going to come on here today. I thought, how cute would it be? Probably not cute to most of you. I was like, how hilarious would it be to come on here and do my review and do it like, do you remember like in elementary or junior high when you had to do like book reports, but you didn't read the book? Do you know what I mean? I was like, how funny would it be if I would be like very serious in this review? And I would start it off and I would say, today is my review of the 2004 award-winning Lifetime Movie Network movie, Gracie's Choice. The movie is about a girl named Gracie. Gracie had choices. She had lots of choices. Would she make the right choice? I read the book. I thought the book was fantastic. I really liked Gracie. Gracie had lots of choices. I wish I had lots of choices. Unfortunately, I'm stuck in this school and I have no choices. But Gracie had lots of choices. You'll have to find out if you read the book what Gracie chose. That was going to be my review. But anyway, so here's the story, okay, Morning Glory. So Anne Heche, who has since sadly passed away, she was fantastic in it. She really was. I actually thought everybody in it was really good. And Kristen Bell is very young in it. And so Kristen Bell plays, I think she's like 15 or, I think she's 15 at the time. No, she's like a senior in high school. So she's like 17. Yeah, she's 17 at the time that the movie starts. And when it starts, her and her mom, and she's got a younger sister that's like a year younger than her, and then I'm getting this in Heaven confused in my head, because I'm like, her sister's name is Fanny, and I'm like, no, that's Heaven's sister in the V.C. Andrews book, Heaven, or movie Heaven. Okay, I can't remember what her sister's name is. It doesn't matter, Tammy or something like that, Sheila. Anyway, she leaves and with her boyfriend and gets pregnant, so it doesn't really matter, because she's out of the house later anyway, but they're real close. Oh, is it Anne? Is it Annie? I can't remember. But anyway, so Gracie has I could look it up on here. But anyway, I looked up the whole cast to see where they are today. Do you do that with movies? So anyway, and then the police come in and they bust basically like this drug house, okay, but it's like this apartment, and there's all these people and they're all like wasted and they're sitting around this living room and like their mom's wasted and stuff. So the police come and they kick everybody out of the house and they're arresting everybody, and they're like gonna arrest the mom. I don't like, this is so weird how this whole thing starts. So Gracie, played by Kristen Bell, starts screaming and yelling. They got this dog. The one thing that made me real sad about this movie was the animals, okay? The animal neglect in this movie. So I'm just going to put that out there for you in case that's a thing, because it's kind of a trigger for me. So anyway, I mean, they don't beat animals or anything like that, but they just kind of leave the animals. So anyway, so the kids are all like running out and social services comes in, and the police don't, well, social services doesn't come in that time. The police don't really have anything to do with the kids. They're like, we don't know what to do with you, and the kids are all just standing out there and they're like, don't take our mom, we were just staying here for the night. The mom was like completely wasted with all these people. They were like in a bedroom in the back. So the kids and the dog and all this kind of stuff. So then the police are like, okay, because Gracie's like, we were just staying here, we had nowhere else to stay. And so they're like, well then get out of here. So the mom starts the car and she's like, come on, Gracie, everybody get in the car, get in the car. And then Gracie's like trying to bring the dog, it's like this big German Shepherd. And they're like, she's like, not the dog, not the dog, not the dog. And it's real sad. And then they drive off and then the dog's like running. I think the dog's name is like King or something like that. And then the dog's like running after the car. You never find out what happens to the dog. I would like to know kind of like the dog's choice. I would like to know King's choice is what I would like to know. What happened to the dog? I was kind of like in my head, do you ever do this? I was like, well, maybe the dog was just like wandering the streets and then like got picked up and was like rescued or something. Like then that makes me feel better, you know what I mean? But anyway, so then they like go to their grandma's house, and their grandma's having a Bible study, and it's Diane Ladd, and I love her so much. But anyway, and then it's, so she is like doing this Bible study, and she's like, oh, hi, how are you? But there's like all these cookies, and then the kids haven't eaten for days, and so then they're like eating all the Bible ladies' cookies and stuff like that. And the grandma's like, no, those are for the Bible ladies. You don't want to do that. So anyway, but then she's like, but eat them because you got dirty fingers and stuff like that. So then she takes the mom in the kitchen. The mom's like, she's like yelling at the mom. Anyway, so she ends up helping her get an apartment, okay? And then, so Gracie and her sister, which I can't remember her name, and then the 3 younger boys and the mom move into this apartment. And the mom's just like wasted the whole time. And so then they're going to school, and Gracie and this girl are going, her sister, well, they're all going to school. But anyway, and then, so, and they all got like different issues and stuff like that. They talk about that in there. So anyway, and then the Gracie and her sister, they both get these little kittens. Okay, that's animal number 2, number 3 that gets left behind. So then the mom brings home this boyfriend. She's got like several boyfriends throughout the movie. And then she brings in, this is all like in the first 10 minutes, by the way. Okay, so then she brings home this boyfriend. And the boyfriend's like trying to hook up with Gracie, and then the mom is like wasted, and the police come, and then, oh no, then the mom like beats Gracie. And then she goes to school. They don't really say it, but you think that like the teacher like, anyway, so she goes to school and she's got like these bruises on her face and stuff like that. It's real sad. And then the teacher that doesn't like Gracie, he's real mean to her. He says, I'm gonna have to report that. I felt like at the beginning of the movie when you watch it, like this is where they like say go to the people that like in school, because you should trust your people in school, but I wouldn't. If I watched Gracie's choice, I'd be like, I might have some choices, but my choice is not to go to the people at school because they're not nice. The school counselor was not nice. Then they turn in to be nice later, okay? But at first, they're like real judgmental against Gracie and stuff like that. So the teacher's like, well, I'm gonna have to report this. And Gracie's like, fuck you, I don't care. Do what you're gonna do. So anyway, so then the next thing you see is like, there's like, I mean, it's literally like a SWAT team, okay, of like 8 people, and the boyfriend, they got all these drugs in the house, and the boyfriend's jumping out the back window, and then Gracie's mom gets arrested, and social services comes up, and they split up all the kids. Okay. So then Gracie and her sister, they have to go stay like in this juvenile detention center overnight and get like, they get showers with like lice soap and all that kind of stuff, and they're like, yeah, I wonder if mom's getting a shower like this too. And anyway, but then they're all split up. Okay, so then the grandma comes and picks them up, and they're like, Grandma, why didn't you come pick us up? And she's like, well, I had Bible study. No, she didn't say that. No, she's like, I didn't know, nobody called me. But wouldn't that have been funny though if she did? She was like, no, but I had Bible study, Corinthians. Anyway, so but then but I always think this stuff when I'm watching it, yeah, though, you know what I mean? And then, so then they go and they go back with their grandma, the 2 sisters, and then the brothers come home. Now, the one brother has like a new haircut and hair gel and stuff like that, and I didn't really understand how he got a new haircut. They all got sunglasses too. They look like kind of like Tom Cruise in Risky Business, all the kids. I didn't really understand like how the boys came out of foster, like they were in foster care for one night, okay? But anyway, they were in and out of foster care like a lot in their life. You find out later. But anyway, So then they're staying with grandma and all this kind of stuff, and then it's been 2 nights. I'm kind of forgetting some stuff, but anyway. So then the younger sister, she starts hanging out with this guy. He looked much older. He had his auto shop business, and he had like a truck and stuff like that. And then she gets pregnant, and she's like, Gracie, I'm leaving. And Gracie's like, no, but I can't do it without you. And she's like, no, but you're strong. You can do it without you. So then the sister leaves. And then, see, that's where I'm getting confused, because in Heaven, if you haven't watched Heaven, Fanny gets pregnant too, because the pastor adopts her. Anyway, that's the whole, but that we'll be getting to that review later in the week, so I watched that movie last night. So then, basically, Gracie is, like, taking care of her brothers and stuff, and, like, her grandma and whatever. And then, her grandma passes away, but then her mom, like, shows up, and her mom's like, and she's been taking care of, like, the brothers. Gracie's been taking care of the brothers and going to school, and then she got this boyfriend on the side and stuff like that, but they don't do it. The mom says they did, but they don't ever do it. They don't. She's like, no, not till I'm married. No, she doesn't say that, but she's like, they don't show that they ever did it. I don't know if they did. Maybe they did. Maybe that's in Amy's real story, but I don't think they'd put them doing it in the Reader's Digest, but I could be wrong. But anyway, so then, like, the mom comes home. Now she got a new boyfriend, okay? She just got out of jail, and since the grandma died, the grandma, of course, because this was a smart decision, left the house and $7,000 to the mom, Aunt Heche. And then the mom's like, you can have anything of grandma's that you want. Like a little, like, you know, little something, like a little bird or something like that if you want something, you know, a glass dish or something like that. And so then she's taking care of the boys. And so Gracie's got this apartment then, right? And Gracie's taking care of the boys, and she's got like containers. Listen, she is a mama, okay? She's got like containers on the counter or the bathroom that say their names on them, and like a towel rack with their names on them. Like, listen, they got chore lists. They're getting good grades. They're showing up to school. She's putting food on the table. She bought her a car. She bought mattresses for the bed. They show all that. Anyway, and the court, like, she petitions the court to let her take care and have guardianship over her brothers, and then they do it for 3 months. And then the social worker is supposed to be this guy that, like, really likes Gracie, and is really, not like that, but, like, he's real nice to her and stuff like that. But then it ends up being, like, this real nasty social worker lady, and then she shows up, and Gracie's like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? And then the one brother, the older brother, he gets kind of, like, snarky and sarcastic with the social worker, and I'm like, in my head, I'm like, shut up, or they're gonna take you away. And he doesn't ever shut up. And Gracie even, like, she's like, gives him kind of mean looks and stuff like that. But anyway, so then the social worker's like, I'm gonna give you another 3 months. You're doing great, Gracie. Congratulations. They're like, yeah. So anyway, then, so then she gets a scholarship to go to college. And then it's like, and her boyfriend at that point, he's kind of from like this rich family and stuff like that. And he's like, well, Gracie, we can go to, he wants to marry her. And he's like, or is that heaven? These stories are so similar. Did VC Andrews get this from Amy? I don't know. But anyway, so then he's like, well, I want to marry you. And she's like, okay, well, you know, but I have to stay here. And he's like, no, like, you can, like, just, why can't you, they're like out to dinner somewhere. It's after graduation. They graduate from high school. And so then he's like, why can't you just adopt the boys out? Like, and she's like, what? And I was kind of like, what? Like, what the fuck? I was, seriously, because I was like, at that point, I was like, she has raised these boys. These are her brothers. Like, she's taking care of them. Like, she's going to just adopt them out to people she don't even know at this point. Like, what are you thinking? And he's like, I want to start a family with just you, Gracie. I want to be just with you. I don't know how this guy was in real life, but they, like, through the whole movie, he's real nice and everything like that. And in this moment, he turns into, like, a real shit turd. So anyway, so then she's like, no, like, and so then she decides that and then he says, what are you going to do? Adopt them? And she's like, light bulbs. Okay. She's like, oh, adopt the kids. So then she decides she's going to adopt these kids. And she gets this attorney, and the attorney's like, no, I'm not going to take the case. And then he decides he's going to take the case. And then he's like, well, you got to do this, and this, all this kind of stuff. Anyway, so then she shows up to court. The mom, seriously, okay, looks like Cher in the movie Mask the entire time. I mean, Aunt Heche, I mean, she looks like she just got off a motorcycle every scene they show her. Okay, seriously, like with a joint in her mouth, okay? So anyway, but she shows up to court, like they're going to court, and you think the mom's not going to show up, they're just going to be like, yeah, you're the mom now. But anyway, and so then the mom shows up to court, and she's got herself like a French twist and this nice dress on and stuff like that, and she's promising the boys that she's going to sell grandma's house and they're going to move to Wyoming and have horses. And the boys are like little boys, and they're like, oh, we want to ride horses and shit like that, right? And so then Gracie's like, fuck, what am I going to do? They're like, and now, like, I didn't take the scholarship, I done lost a boyfriend, and the kids are going to go live with this mom that she don't even take care of them, right? Because she just really, what she wants is the money, is what the mom wants. So anyway, the child support. Oh, at one point, Gracie's dad comes, and she never met him since, or she's, like, the last time she saw him, he was 2, or she was 2. And so the dad shows up, and she's like, oh, it's like, are you really my dad? And he's like, yeah, can you sign this paper? Because I'm not paying child support anymore. And she's like, that's what you wanted? And she's like, good luck, daddy. It was so funny. But anyway, so, because she also works. On top of taking care of 3 kids, going to school full time, she also works in this diner. And her sister wanted free cheeseburgers. I thought that was so rude. I was like, why don't you get a job? But anyway, so then her mom just like wants the money, okay? So then they're going to court, and the judge, like, you don't think she's very nice to Gracie and stuff like that. And then the judge is like, well, I want to hear from the boys. And so the boys come in, and the judge asks, this is where I just like lost it, okay? And then the judge asks the boys who they want to live with. And the oldest boy says, like, Gracie feeds us, she makes sure our homework gets done, blah, 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 whatever. I'm going to start crying here in a second. I know this has been kind of funny, but I'm probably going to start crying. So anyway, and then he's like, I want to live with Gracie. It was really never Gracie's choice. It was the boy's choice. And that just occurred to me. I don't know why. But anyway, so then the middle boy, he's the one that has like the Tom Cruise hairdo and the sunglasses and stuff like that. So anyway, so he's like, well, he's like, I do. He says, oh, he's the one that says all the stuff about that Gracie does. And then the mom's like, she's like, oh, no, you're going to take my boys away from me, and I'm not going to get my check anymore that I can't, like, you know, buy my weed with and stuff like that. So anyway, the mom's like losing it. Aunt Heche's like losing it at the table. And then the youngest boy, he's the one, you just know he's going to ruin it for the whole family, because he's like 4 or something like that, right? And so then he looks back at his mom, and she's like, and then he's like, well, I do want to ride a horse in Wyoming. And you're like, what? No, don't say that. He's like, I would really like to ride a horse in Wyoming. And then he looks back at the judge and he goes, but I really want to go home with Gracie. And I'm like, oh yeah, they're going to go home with Gracie. And then the judge, she takes away parental rights from the mom. And Aunt Heche, like, she's like, oh, I'm not a mom anymore. It's really kind of sad, honestly. It really is. There's this part before it in the bathroom where, if you've seen the movie, you might have thought the same thing as me. There's this, like, woman who, she just had her kids taken away, and she's talking to Gracie, and Gracie had a choice in this moment, too. And Gracie's like, the woman looked like she'd had better days. And so Gracie's like, can I have 2 of those aspirin? Because she was taking a bunch of aspirin. And I was like, no, don't take those. Those might be drugs or something like that. And then you're going to go to court, and you're going to be high, and you're going to lose the kids. I thought that was going to happen. I thought that might have been kind of a spin on the movie, you know, but that's not what happened. But anyway, she just took the aspirin. Maybe her headache went away. I don't know. But anyway, but the woman's like, they just took my kids away from her, and Gracie felt so bad. But then she kind of like patted her shoulder, and she's like, I hope things get better for you. But anyway, it was kind of like, anyway. So then the judge, she's like crying. I'm crying. Gracie's crying. The kids are crying. I don't know. I think the mom went and had like a drink or something like that at the bar. It was real sad. But anyway, I think there was a bar downstairs, and she's going to meet her a lawyer or something like that. I don't know what she's going to do. But anyway, the mom was no longer in it. But then they get to pick their name, okay? So they go out in the hallway. They got 5 minutes to pick their new last name. And so the one kid's like, what about Savage? I was like, oh, I kind of like that. And I'm like, at this point, I'm like starting to Google, like, what's her real last name? And then the one boy looks up, the oldest boy, he's like looking up all these names on the board, and it's Weatherly. And he goes, what about Weatherly? Because we've weathered a lot of like storms and stuff like that. I was like, oh, that's kind of cute. So anyway, so then they go back in the courtroom, and the what have you, I don't know, his bailiff or whatever his name is, he whispers in the judge, they picked Weatherly. And she's like, oh, I like that. So anyway, and so then she goes, people of the court, I now present to you the Weatherlys. And they go, ah! And I'm crying and stuff like that. And then they walk outside, and it's like, shows you like everything that Gracie's done. She's like gone to college, and she started like a foundation to keep kids out of foster care and stuff like that. She's done a lot of really good stuff. But not really Gracie, but really Amy. Okay? But anyway, but then they stop it, and then they start it up again, and the one little boy goes, and presenting to the court, the Weatherlys. And I start bawling again. I'm like, oh my God. The movie was so good, you guys. It was so, literally, on a scale of Lifetime made-for-TV movies, it was a 10 out of 10. I understand now why it's the #1 movie. It was so good. It was so good. I loved it so much. So you must watch Gracie's Choice, okay? Starring Kristen Bell. I'm trying to think, is there anything else I want to tell you about the movie? You don't really ever find out. Oh, no. You do find out. The sister shows up to the grandma's funeral, and she's like 8 months pregnant. And the mom's like, oh my God, she didn't even know she was pregnant, stuff like that. But you don't really ever find out what happens to the sister later. But I'm sure her and Amy, I'm going to call Amy Gracie, okay? I think her and Amy Gracie had kind of a really bad hair. This one part, she lays on her bed, and I was like, what'd she just take out of her hair? I had to rewind it, and it's like a clip. She always wears these clips in her hair. But that was kind of 2004, wasn't it? Anyway, watch this movie. It's so good. You will love it. And coming soon, more Lifetime movies, and I will be watching all of the V.C. Andrews made-for-TV Lifetime movies in order, but I'm starting with Heaven, okay? And then I'm going to go back and do the Flowers in the... I just couldn't... I've seen Flowers in the Attic. I've read that book so many times. I was like, I got to start with Heaven. Heaven's my favorite V.C. Andrews series. So anyway, I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.